Another DraftScience video presentation. This one I will attempt to make very brief. So it's just a response to Pyrrho, because he has to do low attention span physics because he has way too many distractions in life and blah 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 blah. So we'll try to make this as short as possible. He sent me this video as proof or evidence of an experiment that proves that kinetic energy is a real thing and momentum is some sort of not so real. Doesn't get the right answer somehow.
Papa, which is more powerful, a flying bullet or a sliding bowling ball?
All right, so why would we say powerful, right? Why don't we say which one can generate the most electricity? Which one can generate the most heat? So those are really simple things, okay, where we can say this is a qualitative amount of joules of energy, a qualitative amount of something. Which one is capable of generating what we call energy? More energy.
Well, a moving body has both kinetic energy and momentum.
Right, just absolute nonsense. All you can say is a moving body has momentum. That word works fine. That word works as energy. You just replace the word momentum with the word energy. And it works just fine. It always gives you the right answer. There's no circumstance you'll show me where momentum gets the wrong answer, where momentum doesn't understand the real energy, where momentum is a false or fake or phony or unreliable. No example ever will be provided.
So?
We need to put in some numbers. Let's say the bullet is 10 grams, flying at 300 meters per second.
Now,
and the bowling ball is 6 kilograms, sliding at 5 meters per second.
Unfortunately, they could have made these two equal momentums, and then it would have been a much better comparison. It would have been more fun. So just change the 5 meters to 1 meter, and then they'd have the same momentum, something like that anyway.
Oh,
I have to pause. Well, anyway, I'll be back. Alright, continuing and such.
You have given the bullet a higher speed, but the bowling ball a larger mass.
For this set of numbers, the bowling ball has a larger momentum.
So it's 10 times the momentum, right? So it'd be a lot better if they would have just made it the same momentum, so just change the 5 to 0.5. So it's 0.5 meters per second. So a half meter per second, which would be more realistic anyway. That's about what I said. A bullet has about the same energy as you handing a bowling ball to somebody else. And the definition of this energy is just what it is. How much energy do you counter it with? Will tell you how much energy it has. Or, like I said, you can just try to convert its motion into some kind of universal substance, like heat or like electricity. So you put a little generator on them, you find some way to generate the electricity, and you can find out how much energy they have. So there's ways we can do that. They don't do those experiments because those experiments make it so obvious that there's absolutely no way these are two compatible ideas. Momentum and the kinetic energy formula are completely opposite ideas, very different, completely conceptually different. They get a very different answer. They tell you a very different story about how the universe works. Completely different. The two universes can't be blended together. So you have a 30-3 imbalance in momentum. And now they're going to tell us the kinetic energy is exactly the opposite.
Yay!
But the bullet has more kinetic energy.
Look, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times more. 6 times more kinetic energy. More than that, 7 times. 6 times. 6 times more kinetic energy. So what sense does it make? It doesn't make any sense. How can in one circumstance you say the bowling ball has 10 times more, and now it has 7 times less of a thing called energy. And they're calling kinetic energy, but momentum always could have been called energy. They could have, if they had the word energy, Newton would have said momentum is energy. If there was such a word as this idea of it containing something that, quality. And obviously this is relative, but always in relativity, one object they have to have real motion. So again, as I said, it doesn't matter whether I run into the bullet or the bullet runs into me. The bottom line is both of us, between us, have to have the difference in our momentum vectors. Both of us have to have the difference. Someone has all the difference, so I have all the difference, it has all the difference, or we share the difference. But the fact is there has to be the difference. It's a real thing, not a fake thing, not some sort of concept. And these are paradoxical numbers. They don't make any sense at all. You put a generator on it 1 minute and the bowling ball has all the energy. The next minute you put the same generators on it, and all of a sudden now we're going to say, because they're kinetic energy generators, now all of a sudden the bullet has all the energy. One of them has to be right, one of them is wrong.
Gee.
Huh? So who wins?
It's a tie.
Oh, so it's obviously not a tie because the difference in the two is not the same. So like I said, if they would have used a more realistic description of a bowling ball going a half meter per second, then they would have the same momentum, and yet by their theory, the bullet has more energy. Now, even though the same exact charge, the same exact amount of gunpowder will make the bullet go 1/2 meter per second and will make the bullet go 300 meters per second. The same charge will do that. The same energy will do that. And they both have the same stopping force. So here, they say it right here. They explain to you the stopping force and clearly make it clear to you that this is about momentum.
Surely one of them is more unstoppable than the other.
Okay, let's use a constant force of 100 newtons to stop both of them. For the same constant force, it takes a longer time to stop the bowling ball.
Right, and that's all that matters, right? Okay, you're just applying the force. Okay, so the only thing that matters is how long you have to apply it. That's how long the light bulb's on. That's how long the kicker is on. That's how long the puncher is on. So all that matters is that's how much energy you're going to use. Okay, how long your car is running decides how much gas you're using, right? Doesn't have anything to do with distance or any of this other crap. Just has to do with the engine's rotations. So we're applying a consistent number of hits to the bowling ball and a consistent number of hits to the bullet for a length of time. And so it's exactly the same energy, and the bowling ball doesn't get stopped by the same energy that stops the bullet. That's the truth. That's where this whole thing is just, they've turned it into nonsense.
Yay! The bowling ball wins.
Right, so the bowling ball clearly has more energy because it has more momentum. So it has 10 times that you have to use 10 times more energy to stop the bowling ball. See, 30 to 300, clearly 10 times more energy to stop the bowling ball than to stop the bullet. That's telling you how much energy the thing is you're stopping. The stopping force is the same as the starting force. It's the same as the force. It's the same as the energy. There isn't any other way to look at it. The kinetic energy formula is superfluous, useless mush.
On the other hand, for the same constant force, it takes a longer distance to
So again, the distance is irrelevant. We know that lighter things go further. The same punch, I punch something that weighs 50 pounds, it goes further. Does that mean my punch is any different than when I punch something that weighs 500 pounds and it only goes an inch? Does that mean my punch has less energy in it? So because I hit a lighter thing, my punch has more energy? Because the catapult is shooting a lighter rock, it means the catapult has more energy? That's the paradox, that's the lunacy, that's the crazy part, that's the part you have to come up with some explanation for. How is it possible that you have a consistent source of energy? You only have so many joules of energy, and yet you're saying I can make more energy if I just shoot lighter things. It makes 0 sense. So that's all you need. So his own video proves the case. This is nonsense. How far it goes? Irrelevant. Couldn't be less relevant to how much energy it has. We know lighter things go further. Duh. It's just crazy to think that's the way you measure how much energy it has. No, you don't. You measure it by how much energy you have to oppose it with. And that opposing force gave you the right answer, which is momentum is the definition of energy, not the kinetic energy silly formula. It was invented in a silly manner. It was only justified by silly experiments, and they contrived, 100 years after its invention, they contrived a way to try to say Newton invented it when Newton had nothing to do with it. They decided to say F equals ma means you square the velocity, which it doesn't say at all. All right, so enough. Short and not very sweet. But I'm trying to get him to have the argument. So I can actually force him repeatedly. I can keep asking him for one shred of evidence, one experiment that demonstrates you collecting that extra energy. You say the bullet has 7 times the energy. Show me one experiment where you extracted 7 times more energy from the bullet than you could extract from the bowling ball. Show me one experiment that demonstrates it, besides saying, look, the bullet went farther. Going further doesn't measure your energy, just as gravity proves. The same spring shoots objects into the air. The lighter object goes further. It doesn't mean the lighter object has more energy. Same spring shot them. Same charge, same dynamite, same gasoline, same anything I can use that has energy. Yes, of course, lighter things go further. Doesn't prove they have more energy. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Can I make it any clearer? This is a paradox. It's silly. It's nonsense. It shouldn't be believed by anybody who's reasonable. Yeah, that's all. This is pathetic that I have to make these arguments. It's pathetic.